Welcome to Should I Buy It, the email edition. I'm Aaron Task here with David Peltier, and every week at this time we take your emails about specific stocks and how the market works. And David, great to see you.
Great to be here.
All right, so the first email comes from Randy. He says ConocoPhillips has had a big run recently, and maybe that's a bit of an understatement, but it still appears to have a low PE relative to its peers. Should I buy it? Bernstein says yes, they just upgraded the stock today, and it's up again on that news.
You know, they just upgraded it and actually downgraded the favorite of mine in the space, Chevron. But I think they did it for the right reason, which was on valuation. And that's the reason why I found Chevron in the first place. It was trading at a huge discount to all of its peers. So if Conoco's the cheapest one in the group right now, I think you want to follow Bernstein and buy this stock. Energy is probably the best secular growth story out there right now. Demand's not going anywhere. The production capacity just can't keep up with this demand. So, you know, we might not go to $100 a barrel anytime soon, but these companies are just minting money here.
Right, we're pushing 66 now, and obviously, like all the energy stocks, ConocoPhillips was weak at the end of last year, the beginning of this year. It's come roaring back, now trading around $76 a share. Are you concerned at all that it's gotten frothy?
Not necessarily, because when you do look at it, I believe the prices will stay steady, the underlying commodity prices. The one thing that might be frothy right now are the refining margins. They're just
Valero's been
out of control
nuts
right now. But Conoco they're an integrated company. They both take it out of the ground and they make and sell gasoline. So if I had to pick right now, I'd probably rather have a company that works on both sides as opposed to just the pure refiners.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Mike says, this is a tough one, I think. Should I buy Morgan Stanley or Goldman Sachs? Which one is a better value? And just looking, superficially at some of their metrics, they look, pretty closely matched in terms of PE and their PEG ratios. Goldman Sachs seems to get a little bit more revenue per employee, but where do you come down on this one?
Well, first of all, just because one stock Goldman's at 230 and one
exactly.
stock Morgan
Yes.
Stanley's at 80.
Good point. Yes.
They're pretty much like you said. They're both trading about 11 times earnings, and if you go all the way down, any of the different metrics, they're about the same. What makes me like Goldman more is probably the most pure play brokerage out there right now. I mean, they're the ones, this is probably the hottest market right now outside of energy.
Right. All the M&A activity's got to be great for them.
And it's good for Morgan Stanley too, but they have the Discover card business. They don't really have as much of the private equity and whatnot, where Goldman's really they've got their finger on the pulse of everything right now. And it's probably the place to be. They have the larger earnings upside surprises, the bigger growth. And what's wrong with the company earning $25 a share?
Right. It's pretty nice. So Goldman over Morgan, that's your pick there. Okay. And Randy asks about Adobe. He says it's got a sweet balance sheet, dominates the area of software they are in. They're starting a new upgrade cycle, and Flash seems to be the answer to web video. And here we are. Should I buy Adobe?
They're super sweet, actually.
Super sweet.
Super sweet.
But that is not a cheap stock.
No, it's not. And I just pulled up the long-term chart. It actually just made it back to its 2000 highs, which is quite interesting. But Adobe, like in Intuit, a couple of the smaller companies out there that just have an absolute monopoly in their market. It doesn't matter if Microsoft tries to copy them. It doesn't matter if someone else tries to come along with a better business. You need to own Adobe software to do business in, say, the newsletter business. We put out my newsletter. It's always an Adobe acronym.
Right.
Same thing with Intuit. There's might be better ways to do your taxes. It doesn't matter. Intuit always sells a lot of tax software. But the stock is at $44 right now, an all-time high. With companies like this, you need to buy them when they pull back a little bit. So it goes to 40, then you start nibbling away.
All right, David, thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, David and I are going to do this every week at this time. Our emails are on the screen. Send us your questions for the next edition of Should I Buy It? I'm Aaron Task. Stay tuned for more of TheStreet.com TV.